Sound check. Sound check. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Sound check.
Hello. Hello. Hello, 5-3. Hmm. Okay.
Questions, but see, oh,
Because I'm not supposed to be having your answers.
I think when you say you're
Okay.
a TB
Just
advocate, can tell us a story and your role in TB
Yeah.
management. Maybe you can
yeah,
just.
it's there. It's there,
Yeah.
there where I want to say it. Yes.
Yeah, she.
So it's okay. I just thought maybe it's something I can do, but if not, then it's okay.
Something.
It's probably a lot.
Maybe a minute or two.
Yeah.
Something. Yes, now I can hear something. Something.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Can I come to you? Oops. Shit. I forgot about it.
Oh my.
Hey, Poppy. Matakara pongoni no kuhala pono kulele po.
Where's the other one? Where's the other one of this? Okay. But that's also not the problem.
Still low?
The
Can you hear
problem
me
is
now?
here.
Nice.
Is this better?
You look
This-
nice.
it's as if
Beautiful
it's
there on the
slightly
Maybe
screen.
my leg
one
must
side.
be like yours.
Yeah.
Are you
Then-
this side or that
Let me
side?
see if I turn my neck.
Maybe on your last bit. I think you should be able to see.
Yeah, but it looks.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's time.
Look, at the end of the day, yeah, she'll come to you just now. Justine, just help him there, please. I think at the end of the day, as long as we just remember that these are 14 questions, we only have, no, not 45. 55 minus 15
55.
gives us 40. We have about 30 minutes. 30,
No.
35 minutes.
I think it should be fine.
So, look, at the end of the day, I think this is what I tell everybody. The aim is to give out information,
Yes.
not to put our people to sleep, because we want them to stay alert to receive the message. So, as much as we are giving out information, we need to just keep our answers
Short.
heavy
Cons-
but concise.
Concise.
Very important information pushed out in a short time frame.
Test my
Yeah.
microphone testing.
What
One,
was the
two.
other thing? The other thing that we should
One,
also
two.
be
Is it not
mindful
a high-
of
Who is
is the
coming?
possibility of call-ins. I think Ms. Tony explained
One,
that.
Yes.
two.
So that also
Mic
tends
test,
to
one,
cut
two,
into
one, two,
our
one, two. One,
time
two.
of discussion. That's why we
Mic
always
test.
emphasize, please try and keep your
Mic
answers
test,
short.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1,
In the
2.
case where
Testing
we are still
microphone,
left with a
1,
bit of
2.
time, you
1,
can
2.
always, revert back to maybe where you feel you left out something or
1,
so
2.
on.
Are you fine?
Yeah, but I'll put it on my script now that you have. This is my phone ringing.
Is mine on silent?
Hello?
Let me just check. Yes.
Whoa. Wenji, I'm well, ne? I'm busy with sound checks. I'll call you at 4. Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm starting with the first question. Yeah? I'm starting.
Yeah, we'll start with the first questions.
It's a good thing this thing rang now, because I thought my phone was on silent. Yeah, I thought the whole time. Yes. Thanks to who? Wenji. Oh, yes, this thing is on. My sister. Yes, what was the other thing? She explained to you guys how to drink your water.
Yeah.
And then if you have to do major movement, just pay attention to the screen in front of you. When it moves away from you, that's when you can take a sip, exactly the way he's doing it right now, from the bottom. What was the other thing that I usually... Yes, please,
only
as
came
much
one.
as a conversation that we're having with each other, we need to keep the audience engaged also. So I would say 80% of your eyes should be on a camera, and then the other can be rotated on all sides. You know, because you're not just talking to me, you're also with your colleagues. Huh? Can I do what? The names. Yes, please throw them out. The chairs are. Auto matumbo ya njenga. Oh, today is just not. Hey, my friend. I hope Hage is not watching. In fact, I think they're checking sound.
Okay. You
I
want
think Hage will be better understanding than my own minister. Fair won't think it's funny. Hage will be more understanding than Fair. Exactly. What was the other thing? Yes, Grace, I can't hear you, by the way. Your mic is quite low in my ear.
I think this is my mic check.
Yeah, that's that's Mr.
testing,
Ipinge's
testing.
Testing my mic.
Testing.
I hope you get that one. Thank you.
I'm glad the rain is
I'm
gone.
going to spray
Okay.
when I speak. I just want to demonstrate something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's.
Just one or
I
two.
think that's fine, right?
It's hairspray and it's
sorry.
going to your side. It was supposed to be aerosol,
District
underarm.
TB and Leprosy Coordinator, Commerce Region, Faustina Amutenya, is that fine?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. No, Miss Hesselman is asking me when she's busy saying something, there's a part where she's saying something. Is it fine for her to spray? But it does smell nice
good.
though. Oh, it smells very nice. Phineas Ipinge, he says it is all well. Are you sure? Okay.
Don't you want to say she's an advocate with Ministry of Health? Don't you want it to be like that, Ms. Karen? Or you good like that? I mean, I'm
No,
Are you advocate in your personal capacity or
Yes.
you're
both. Personal, but in collaboration. But so it's fine.
is the minister coming? So in absence of the minister, you start with the kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's always fine. Grace, I still have Light thunder showers. Okay. Yes, now I can hear this box. Now the thunder showers are gone. Now the rain is gone. Okay. Clear, sunny skies. Clear, sunny skies now. Okay, you see, I don't know what John just touched right now. Good afternoon, Namibia, and welcome to another session here at the Government Information Center. I am your host for the afternoon. My name is Shianoa Desire Kahiha, and this afternoon we are taking a look at TB awareness and the preparation, therefore, for the 2022 World TB Day commemorations, which will be taking place in March. But before we divulge into this particular topic, where we will be assisted by various panelists who are not only survivors but also coordinators within the sector, we would like to welcome Dr. Esther Muinyangwe, who is the Deputy Minister of Health. She will be giving us the COVID update for the afternoon. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister.
Good afternoon, Madam
How are you this
Kahia.
afternoon?
I'm always good.
It's good to
Always,
hear.
always.
I love the positivity.
You know, I have told my mind.
Yes.
We remain positive.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We move.
Yeah. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And good afternoon, fellow Namibians. I do the update for the 1st of March, 2022. And we announced 23 new positive cases from 895 results in the last 24 hours reporting cycle, representing 2.6 positivity ratio. Out of the 23 new positive cases, 17 are females and 6 are males. The youngest one is 3 months and the oldest one is 95 years old. The new positive cases are geographically distributed as follows. Ohangwena 9, 7 from Engela, 1 from Okongo, and 1 from Enana. Oshana 4, all 4 from Oshakati. Komas 3, and they are all from Windhoek. Erongo 3 from Swakop Mund. Oshikoto 2 from Omuthia. Omusati 1 from Oshikuku, and Oshodonjupa 1 from Okahanja. We are not recording any reinfections. We are reporting cases from 7 regions, and among the confirmed cases, 8 are learners from different schools, and 1 is a healthcare worker. 1 case has received 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and 2 cases are fully vaccinated, of which 1 has received a booster dose, while 20 cases are not vaccinated, accounting for 87% of the total confirmed cases. We are reporting 77 recoveries from 7 regions, with Omaheke recorded 50 recoveries, 17 from Oshikoto, 5 from Oshodonjupa, 2 Hartap, 1 from Komas, 1 from Sambesi, and 1 from Ohangwena. The number of active cases is 2,545. 25 cases are currently hospitalized across 7 regions. 2 hospitalized cases are fully vaccinated, while 23 are not vaccinated, constituting 92%. 5 cases are in ICU and none is vaccinated. The distribution of hospitalized cases is as follows: Comas, 7, with 5 in ICU. Ohangwena, 5. Oshana, 5. Omusati, 3. Erongo, 2. Kunene, 2. And Oshodonjupa, 1. We are not reporting any death today. By 28 February 2022, a total of 433,398 people aged 18 years and older have received 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, representing 29.4% of the target population of 1.5 million. A total of 124,601 people have received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, while 249,565 adults have received 2 doses of other vaccine types. In other words, 374,166 adults have completed their vaccination, translating to 25.4% of the target population. 10,428 children aged 12 and 17 years have received 1 dose of the Pfizer vaccine, representing 3.4% of the target population, which is 307,298. Of these, 2,823 are fully vaccinated. Hence, the cumulative number of people vaccinated with the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine for both adults and children is 443,826, of which 376,989 are fully vaccinated, translating to 21.2% of the total population. 27,856 people have received a COVID-19 booster dose. Moving on, Madam Chair, the summary of the national update as of 1st March is as follows. Cumulative newly confirmed individuals, 157,275. Newly confirmed individuals, 23. So which means that cumulative cases including reinfections stand now at 159,356. Recoveries are 152,787, giving us a recovery rate of 97.1%. Active cases, 2,545. Cumulative COVID-19 vaccine first dose, 443,826. Cumulative COVID-19 vaccine second dose, 252,388. Cumulative COVID-19 vaccine completed, 376,989. COVID-19 deaths, 3,000. 681. COVID-19 related deaths, 328, giving us a total number of deaths of 4,009. Total samples tested, 957,442. Active contacts, 480. Cumulative number of people who have been in quarantine facilities, 88,764. And 88,391 have been discharged from quarantine facilities, and currently we have 373 people in quarantine facilities, and that brings us to the end of today's update. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Muinyangwe, for that update. And as I said last week, really, the numbers continue to give us hope, and we are very grateful for all efforts that have been made by the stakeholders to try and ensure that we can get to such hopeful numbers. If we could reach a day that we have no deaths, and I believe this has been the trend now for a couple of weeks. So honestly, we would like to applaud the Namibian nation for everybody who does and continues to do their part in trying to make sure that we mitigate and hopefully also get rid of COVID out of the country. So we would like to implore you to please continue practicing the regulations that are in place, not just to stay out of trouble, but also just to ensure that we continue this positive trend. Sanitize your hands regularly, continue washing your hands also frequently with running water and soap. Make sure that you sanitize, disinfect surfaces that you work on, and also make sure that you keep the social distance. Now, as we said at the beginning of our show, today we are looking at TB awareness and the preparation for the 2022 TB Day commemorations, which will be taking place in March. In the studio this afternoon, we've got three panelists who will be helping us to discuss the issue of TB, especially at a time that we find ourselves. And today we are joined by Ms. Faustina Amutenya. She is the District TB and Leprosy Coordinator for the Commerce Region. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you for being with us.
Having me.
And we also have Mr. Phineas Ipinge. He is the Advocacy, Communication and Social Mobilization Officer with the Ministry of Health and Social Services. Good afternoon, Mr. Ipinge.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here.
Good, good. And we also have Ms. Karen Hisselman, and she is a TB survivor and turned advocate. Good afternoon, ma'am, and thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's my great pleasure.
Yes. So as you see, we've got a good balance of representatives here that can assist us from different directions to try and understand where we're at with regards to TB. It's nothing new in our country. I remember in the 90s we had great fights against TB, and we did do a lot as a nation to bring down the scary numbers that we found ourselves at that point in time. I think we were on a balanced trend to say, or so to say, but now those numbers seemingly have changed. But we would like to find out first, and we will start off with Ms. Amutenya, pardon me. Tell us, what is TB, if we're to explain it to a layman's person? Ms. Amutenya can just assist us with that one. How is it spread, and how does one prevent it? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Ms. Hasselman will assist us with that particular answer. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much for the question.
Yes.
You know what? The fact that we are breathing put us all at risk
Yeah.
for getting TB, because TB is a airborne disease, and so we inhale the germs that causes TB. And TB is caused by a bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And when someone who has active TB, TB of the lungs,
Yeah.
then when that person coughs, he or she coughs the germ out
Yeah.
into the air, and anyone who is in close proximity of that person inhale the germ or the bacteria, and
Yeah,
it goes sits in that person's body. Now, I want to demonstrate quickly by, if you take an aerosol can and you spray,
Yeah, yeah.
so those droplets,
Yes.
that is, we can use that analogy to indicate how TB then spreads, because once the person coughs out,
Yes.
and whoever is in close
Exactly.
proximity inhales it, and sometimes you're not even aware
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
are inhaling the TB germ. And for that reason, we also say that many people most probably do have the TB germ in their bodies. And then we don't say they have TB disease.
Okay.
We say they have TB infection. Because the germ sits in the body, and for many people, they will never in their life develop TB disease because they have a strong immune system. They have, they live in an environment where there's good ventilation,
Yes.
and they take in good nutrition.
It doesn't manifest in their body.
Yes. So it's like the body's immune system constantly is constantly able to overpower
Yes.
those germs.
Yeah.
So, but when it happens that the person's body, the immunity becomes compromised,
Yes.
then the ability for the immunity or the immune system to fight the disease diminishes.
yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes the germ is overpowered, or rather the germ overpowers the immune system, and then disease develops.
Yeah.
So we mostly get TB, or most commonly it happens in the lungs, but it can also happen in other parts of the body. And then the most common signs and symptoms that people should watch out for or look out for is a cough for about 2 weeks or longer. And then also if that cough has blood or sputum in it, a lot of
Yeah.
phlegm that comes out. We also talk about a wet cough. Then also when there's fever, when there's weight loss, and when there's also a loss of appetite. So this sort of in a nutshell tries to explain how TB can happen,
Yeah.
and what we should look out for.
Okay, okay. Having heard what Ms. Hesselman had to say, one would then understand what is in the next question and why it would come up in many people's minds. Ms. Amutenya, the COVID-19 has now emerged, and I think there's confusion, and thus now leads us to ask and try to pinpoint the similarities between COVID and TB, because I think this, hearing what Ms. Hesselman had to say now with regards to symptoms and the way of transmission and so on, maybe you can just elaborate on that for us, Ms. Faustina.
Thank you very much. The difference between TB and COVID is that the germ which is causing TB is different from what is causing COVID-19. The TB is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, like Ms. Karen said, while the COVID-19, it is caused by a virus which is from a group of viruses.
Yeah, yeah.
The way they spread is also different. Because with TB, it is mostly droplets which a person with TB coughs up in the air, and anyone who can breathe in that infected bacteria. While with COVID, it is mostly, one can mostly get it from the surfaces when they are infected or from the hands. That's why if we look at the prevention, we will also look what is causing, and then it will be easy. So with TB, in order to prevent TB, we have to detect those who are having TB early, so that we can put them on treatment. Because once we put them on treatment, they are on treatment for a week or two, then the chance for them to transmit TB to others, it will be difficult. And with COVID, we have to wash our hands regular, and we have also to sanitize. so that we don't touch here and there, because at the surfaces, we don't know what is there, because a virus can be there.
Okay.
And if we also look at with TB, it was discovered in 1882. It means it has been there for some time.
Yeah.
While this COVID only came in December 2019. So that is mostly the difference between the two.
Okay. So basically what we're looking at here that creates, from what I'm hearing, it creates a significant difference. We have similar transmission. It's just that one is, they are different in the viral makeup. Am I correct with that analogy?
Yes, you are correct, because TB is a bacteria
Yes,
and the
other
COVID
one
is a virus.
Is a virus.
Ah.
And then also, one would wonder then, looking at transmission, we were told, you know, when COVID hit, it's about making sure that you've got a mask on so that you know, when somebody speaks, they tend to transmit droplets out of their mouth. It's a natural thing. So worse so when they're coughing, and this is a similar way of transmission also with TB. Does this now also start playing into the survival rate of the bacteria and the virus? Because you mentioned the fact that COVID can be transmitted through surfaces and so on, but this is not necessarily coming up with the TB bacteria. So is it about the time frame of survival between the bacteria and the virus? Can one, you know, come through from that direction?
Yes, and adding 1 or 2 points is that the droplets is for both. It can be transmit TB as well as the COVID-19. And the transmission, how long does it take for someone to show the signs and symptoms? For COVID-19, it takes about 2 days to 14 days. While for TB, like Ms. Karen said, one can have infection, and if the soldiers of the body is strong, the immune system, then one is not coughing and is not having active TB.
Okay. Mr. Ipinye, we have, should I call them statistics?
Yeah.
Or a little bit of research?
Yeah.
Nyana. In front of me here, we've got details that are speaking to 2018, where the country's TB treatment success rate was at about 84%, of which new patients commenced this treatment in around 2017. They were successfully treated. While it is relatively high, there is a need for all of us to combine our efforts, obviously, to make sure that patients commence TB treatment on time and so on, and that successful treatment can be done. And WHO targets remain at around 90% success rate. Now, the confusion where myself and the research team kind of were struggling with, and we're really hoping that you can assist to clarify this for us, because we were having back and forths in the prep room. Namibia is now ranked around top 9 country with being affected by TB. And this is according to the latest statistics. Where are we now as a country? And when we're talking about latest statistics, what is the time frame that we're referring to? Because if we look at 2018, we had 84%, which is not so far off from the 90% that is recommended by WHO. So, can you just clarify this for us? What is the time frame that we're referring to here when they are talking about top 9 countries struggling with TB?
All right. Thank you very much for the question. I will start off to say Namibia as a country, we've been observing a steady decline in the number of cases that are being notified countrywide. If we have to look at the peak of about 16,156 cases that was way back in 2004 to about 8,100 cases that were notified that's in 2020. But like you indicated, like you argued out, despite that decline, the country remained among the top 10 countries with a high burden of TB. This is, as also per se, the global TB report is saying it's about 2,700 people in Namibia died of TB, and as Sister Karen have indicated that TB is curable and no one actually supposed to die of TB, but we still have a lot of cases of people that are dying of TB. I would say the Ministry of Health and Social Services, which with its partners and stakeholders, are actually doing very well to try to make sure that whoever is put on TB treatment do complete their treatment, and those who are on symptoms and they present themselves to the health facility do get assisted and start their treatment as soon as possible. What I can say here is, you know, the inevitable can be, you know, the gain that we have gained as a program or as a ministry when we've been trying to combat TB can also be impact to the pandemic like COVID-19 that we're having now to control the pandemic. But there are efforts, there are commitments, there are activities that are going down in the community to make sure that we maintain the 90% successful rate. I can tell you now we are at 8-9%. That's our current treatment success rate. And when you talk about the treatment success rate, we look at the previous year, because TB treatment is for 6 months. So you have to be on treatment for 6 months. And for now, we are reporting at the cohort of 2020, 2021. Those are the treatments. That's a report that we are talking about now. Because someone that have started treatment in 2021, you could have completed your treatment by now, because we're talking about that quarter that we are looking at. But I would say the country is really doing well, although we know WHO says we miss about 40% of the cases we are still missing. And of course, our key stakeholders, the Ministry of Health, we are trying our best to bring those who are not on treatment to be on treatment.
Okay. You just explained to us, you gave us clarity with regards to the figures, the time frame, and so on, and how the time frame of measurement is, you know, calculated, the 6 months period. Because, I mean, obviously, after every 6 months, you kind of have to semi-present new statistics to that regard, not necessarily, you know, reports, but to benchmark yourself as a country on where you are. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, we currently conclude our 2020-2021 national report. The data, of course, we're going to release. Our minister, Honorable Minister, will release them during the World TB Day commemoration. That's in March 25th. That's when you have the latest report for 2020-2021. For now, we're talking about the annual data for 2019-2020. Those are the data that you are having, that we are talking about right now, because it's cumulative. And like I said, the person needs to be on treatment for between 6 to 12 months. If it's a DL patient, and that's when you get the result, and then you present it. And of course, we come up also with a global report where Namibia's data are also being featured in.
We're staying with you because this is connected to what we're talking about, Mr. Ipinge. What are some of the measures that, as a ministry, you have put in place, specifically when you look at the National TB and Leprosy Program, with regards to prioritizing continuation of TB services, especially amongst, you know, amidst the time that we find ourselves? And also, you can even take us a little bit back, looking at the 2 years, the 2020-2021 time period, when we really were struggling with COVID-19. How was that prioritized with regards to TB and COVID hitting at the same time?
All right. Subnationally, I would say we've been decentralizing the TB care and services from the health facilities, in a sense that we actually trying to minimize the contact of the patient with the healthcare workers. What we've been doing is it's a fact that the TB facilities or infrastructures are being used for COVID-19 because of the setup of the infrastructure that we are, the ventilations, and they are always also been isolated in many cases. So what we've been doing is we've been encouraging patients to be correcting their medication in the what we call the community-based TB care setting. We have a DOT where the patient will be picking up medication, but not from the health facilities. What we have also done is we have increased the community communication between the healthcare workers as well as the patient,
Yeah.
with the aim that we are giving medication to the patient on a longer period instead of them coming to the facilities
Yeah.
and get their treatment every day. We give them, let's say, for 5 days or for 2 weeks, depends on how long they have to cover. So that aim was actually to minimize the contact with the patient. On top of that, we do have the healthcare workers and the community healthcare workers who are in the communities and actually making sure that these patients are taking their medication. We have increase in resources whereby we make sure that the communication between the patient and the healthcare worker have also been increased for them to be able to do to come up with platform where they communicate to them, whether it's on the WhatsApp group, they send each other text messages. Did you remember to take your medication?
Yes, yes.
And then they communicate thereafter. And for those ones that we lost communication, we have the food soldiers that will actually go and follow up on them and just take it up on them and say what is really happening. So far, I can testify to you that the Ministry of Health and Social Services have maintained uninterrupted treatment, diagnosis of our TB patients throughout for the past 2 years, even when COVID-19 have arisen, and we continue doing that.
Wow, wow. That's actually very positive to hear, especially during a time where so much was affected and a lot was disrupted with regards to continuation programs that had been put in place to just try and make sure that lives are saved and people get the necessary medication that they need. And I know that during 2020, there was a time where there was a high fear of not having access to medication and, you know, some medication even running out. So it is very good to know that that is one area that was not disrupted. And I think COVID actually did a lot of sectors. I mean, I'm not saying it was good. Please don't get me wrong. But I think it really did good, or we reacted well in the sense that we were forced to re-engineer how we function. Find different ways to do things that would ensure that continuation. Well, it is a national conversation. And as I always say, that this is a national platform, and you can add your voice to the conversation, you as our viewer. Thank you for always being part of, you know, the show, whether you call in, whether you do it through our social media platform. And so once again, we invite you to do the same. Our call-in line is 061. That is the area code. The number is 400-397. 400-397. You can also reach us through our comments platform on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, Republic of Namibia. Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, Republic of Namibia. On YouTube, you can find us at MICT Namibia. MICT Namibia, that is our YouTube handle. Now we come back to the panelists and Ms. Hesselman. Clearly, you're a fighter, and I'm sure you stuck to what you needed to stick to, because as you sit here today, you're a survivor, and not only that, you decided to become an advocate. Can you help us understand your journey? Tell us your story and your role, the role that you play in TB management. But before you answer that, sorry, we have a call. We're going to go to the caller quickly before we allow Ms. Hesselman to answer. Good afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Caller, hello.
I lost out on that one.
Yeah, I think we lost out on that one. Yes. Well, let's continue. Let's just keep in mind when they call back so that we can just take that caller.
In the first place, because, you know, historically, I think people has the idea that, the community out there has the idea that people coming from an affluent community or a community where you at least have the basic things that, you know, your basic human needs. I'm actually also a nurse by profession. So while I was getting TB or diagnosed with TB, I was actually a nurse. And I was working in the HIV clinic. And at that time, we were so scared of HIV that, you know, you focused mostly on not getting a needle prick injury and, you know, getting in touch with the blood and so on.
Yeah.
And at that time, I remember we had, we closed the rooms, the windows, the doors, because the privacy of the patient was such a big thing, and the stigma and all of that. But then also where I worked at that time, a lot of the patients came already very sick. So they were, you know, having a very high load. We call it also the bacillary
Sorry
load.
to cut you there, Ms. Hesselman. Let's just receive that caller quickly, then
Okay.
we can continue to hear your story. Good afternoon, caller. How are you? Caller, hello? I believe we've got Anytime from Tumep calling us this afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to the show. I think we're just struggling a little bit with a technical communication there with Mr. Anytime from Tsumeb. Please do call us back. We love hearing from you. We would continue with Ms. Hesselman until we get Mr. Anytime back on the line. So can you continue with us with your story, please?
Yes, so that the patients, when they came in to the clinic, the load of TB bacteria was already very high.
Yeah.
So they were quite contagious, and they were not on treatment.
Yeah.
You know, and so I guess that's where I picked up. Although you can never say it's exactly there, but
Because of the nature
Yes,
of
because as we
transmission
said,
also.
it could have been in the shop. It
Yeah.
could have been in the, you know, while I was sitting with my colleagues and so on. But I have strong conviction that I picked it up in the clinic because of, we call the infection and infection prevention and control measures. Because as I mentioned, we didn't open windows, we didn't open doors because of the privacy of the patient. So that's one way how you can get TB. When the concentration is high in the air,
Yes.
there's no ventilation,
Yeah.
you inhale, so you literally inhale a lot of germs over and over in the same environment.
Yeah.
And that's why people in you know, environments where they don't have ventilation, like in shacks and all of that, informal settlements, they can get TB very easily because of that nature of it. So in that way, I thought I picked it up like that, and so I was not even aware.
Wow.
And so I also experienced a lot of stress, personal stress, and I thought that too elements
Contributed.
strongly contribute to me getting TB disease.
Yeah.
Where the bacilli overpowered my immune system because of that high level of stress.
Yeah.
And so when I went for holiday in Cape Town, it's where I actually was diagnosed. So you can imagine somewhere there in a different country, different environment. It was so scary. So so yes, that is basically what happened to me. And I was diagnosed with TB there in Cape Town. And I came back, and I walked an uphill journey where I was stigmatized, I was rejected, you know, and that made me realize that it is not fair that people should, you know, be stigmatized. And so I thought, in the last couple of years, I realized, no, I need to let my voice be heard. I need to tell my story. Because it's not only people in shacks. It's not only people who don't have food every day. It's not people who we believe do not take a good bath every day. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And it can also be, you know, we can trample it. We
Yes, very
can
much.
fight it, and we can get over it. We can win it.
Yeah.
And so I wrote a little poem. And I don't think we will have time today to go through the poem. But in the end, I ended my poem by saying, I won. Not TB won, but I won because I could, even though it was difficult, I could take the handfuls of medicine. At that time, we didn't have the fixed dose combinations where you have 3 pills in one. So I had to take a handful of medication, and I got through it, you know, I overcame it, and now I am working as an academic. I'm teaching at a local university where I teach nursing students.
Yeah.
And you can ask them. I keep talking about TB. So that is
Yes,
one way
yes.
how I help the TB management to be, to put it out there that
Yes, you create awareness. You
Yes.
assist with that,
Yes.
with that train to make sure that the word stays out there.
Yes, and I also want to tell people
Okay.
out there, my
Yeah.
dear fellow Namibians, we need to listen to the messages.
Yes,
Sometimes
yes.
we just close our ears, and it's only when it happens to us,
Yeah.
then now you want to run around,
Yeah.
and so you could have prevented it.
Yeah.
So in terms of also how I help manage TB, like in my advocacy role, we will talk about it later on in the program, so I
Okay,
will
we've
not
got-
say a lot.
Sorry, we've got Anytime back on the line. That's the caller was trying to get through to us. Good afternoon, Anytime. He is calling us from Tsumeb. How are you today?
Anytime doesn't want to speak.
Yeah, no. Oh, wow. I guess it's technology. It's playing tricks on us these days. Here's Mr. Anytime. Good afternoon. There you are.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Anytime. How are you today?
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Miss, can you unmute your phone?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we
we
can hear
can.
you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Quite audible enough. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Anytime, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, madam?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Finally, I've been struggling to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you very much, Madam Kaya, the moderator, and also to the panel to bring this information to the nation.
Yeah.
Most of the time I've been hearing, and question is directed to Mr. Pinge.
Mm-hmm.
When he said that the combating of TB in our country is on a positive note there. But heading from the Zambezi region, I've been hearing from those TB patients that the neighboring country, Zambia, they are good at they're having effective treatment of TB. And some of the patients, those here, they used to go over the other side there to get treatment. So now my question to Mr. King is, I don't know whether he has statistics that Zambia handles this TB effectively than Namibia. That's my question. Thank you.
Anytime, you're asking whether he's familiar with how Zambia handled TB? Is that the question?
Hello.
I think we're struggling to understand or hear or communicate properly with Mr. Anytime there, but I think the basis of the question is the Ministry of Health here in Namibia familiar with the manner in which Zambia, in the manner...
Most of the patients in Katima there, the TB patients, previously, those years back, they used to go to the neighboring country over the border there, the churches, to get treatment. And Zambia is being said to be, they are good at the effective treatment of TB than in Namibia. Is that true? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. We'll tackle it as best as we can. Mr. Ipinge, I think he started by directing that particular statement or question to you.
Okay.
And it is around the manner in which Zambia is tackling TB and how they found a way to overcome the rampaging TB that was going through their country back then. And he also referred to the fact that a lot of our fellow Namibians in the areas of Zambezi region and so on tend to go over to our neighboring country to get help with regards to TB.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Thank you very much, Anytime, for your contribution on this one. First of all, I will start off by saying The Ministry of Health and Social Services is aware of the cross-border issues that's been happening between the countries that are bordering the country. And cross-border patient, when it's come to TB management, it's actually one of the item on its own, which is being addressed from the political level and also from the technical level. Time to time, we have cross-border patients either coming from Zambia or coming from Angola, but the two ministries are also being guided by the same guideline that the Namibian government is also using. So whether it's Zambia as well as Namibia, so we have the same guideline for the management of TB in the country. If there is a special intervention or innovation that Zambia have been implementing to actually combat TB in their country, that's quite a very good initiative, something that we can explore on. But when it comes to treatment management and patient management and care, we are guided by the National TB Guideline, which is being used by the two countries that he's referring to.
Okay.
But of course, we know of the cross-border activities that have been happening between the two countries, and we are aware of that.
I think I think from Mr. Anytime, that was also not only just a question, but somehow also a suggestion of maybe engagement, neighboring countries to engage in each other with regards to manners in which we can try and combat these problems. We've got somebody in the studio. We've got a journalist here in the studio, and she would like to pose a question. Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Yes, good afternoon.
Can you start with your name and which media house you're from, and then you can pose a question.
Okay. My name is Vetundoa Shivikwa, and I'm from Eagle FM. I don't know if you maybe touched on my question that I have, since I came in a bit late.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm just going to post it.
Can
My
you
question
just
is,
speak a bit louder?
okay,
Yeah.
my question is, how is COVID-19 affected or interrupted with the monitoring and treatment of TB patients, or as well as programs within different regions?
Okay. So your emphasis is on the interruption,
The interruption
of
of-
treatment and monitoring, and also the various programs within the regions. Is that the only one?
And the second question is, how many TB cases have the ministry recorded in 2021? And how many active cases do we have like thus far? And my last question is, which regions have recorded the highest TB cases in Namibia?
Okay. I believe that question, the person best suited, thank you very much for your question. The best suited person to answer that question would be Mr. Ipinge. But before we continue with Mr. Ipinge, we would like to welcome Sylvester, who is on the line with us. Good afternoon, how are you?
I believe that question, the person best suited, thank you very much for your question. The best suited person to answer that question would be Mr. Ipinge.
Excuse me, sir, can you please lower the volume or switch off your radio because it's giving feedback?
Good afternoon, how are you?
Can you please, before you continue, can you switch off your radio or television?
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
We can hear you, but please switch off your TV or your radio. It's creating a delay in our communication. Well, on that, we would like to ask her to please call us back because unfortunately that we had a bit of a technical delay there due to her radio or TV being on. We will continue with Mr. Ipinge to answer the question that our journalist had, and maybe you can just give her a bit more specifics on that.
All right. Thank you very much for the questions. I think we have addressed the issues of COVID and TB when it comes to the services. What the Ministry of Health have done is, subnationaries, we've been decentralized the services from the health facilities back to the community because of the nature of the activities that we do when it comes to the TB patient. What we have been done is we've been increasing the number of days that we are giving medication to our TB patient so that we minimize the contact of the patient with the healthcare workers. That's one of the things that we have done. By doing that one also, because we have the community healthcare workers within the community, we also empower them or increase resources for them to be able to increase the communication between them and the patient, whereby they've been able to communicate and check up on them and say, have you taken your treatment every day? Because by then, we are not observing this patient when they're taking their treatment anymore. When it comes to the number of patients that we are notified in 2021, I indicated as our rooted area on, this is the report that we just currently concluded, and we are going to share that report only during the World TB Day commemoration in March 25. So that data still need to be signed off by our honorable ministers, so that's when you can share that data, because we just currently concluded that one. But what I can tell you is, of course, we have observed a steady decline in the number of cases that we have notified. If we have to look at 2020, we notified about 8,100 patients. And of course, that number have gone down if we have to compare that to the previous years. But that doesn't mean the ministry is not doing the most, but we are still combating this virus, and we are remain among the top 10 countries with the highest burden of TB.
Okay. Okay. I hope that answered your question. And as he stated, there is a report that's coming out with regard that will be presented by the minister during the commemoration of World TB Day. So maybe you can also just have a look out for that one. Speaking of the World TB Day commemorations, Mr. Ipinge, it is commemorated every year during the month of March, and this year it is being commemorated under various themes. Invest to end TB, save lives. What's the theme entail? What do these themes entail?
Yeah, thank you very much on that one, Madam Moderator. What I can tell you is World TB Day is commemorated every year on the 24th of March, pushing back to when TB was discovered by Dr. Robert Koch. And this year we are commemorating World TB Day. That will be in Oshkoto region, in Onanjokwe district, in Onaena. That will be on the 25th of March 2022 at Nehale Senior Secondary School. So that's where we're going to do the national commemoration for World TB Day. On top of that, the theme, of course, says invest to end TB, save lives. This is actually the theme that goes in line to the commitment that were made at the high level by the leaders who have signed a declaration, and our head state was one of them, as well as our Minister of Health. We are saying they are actually running behind to achieve the commitment that they made, or the declaration that they signed at the UN high level as way back in 2018. And this is actually a call for individual, a call for politician, a call for all the influencers out there to actually invest in TB, and let's try to save life, because this can be done. So it's a theme that is also comes with a resource mobilization and investment that we need to go out there. There's also a call to the media houses to invest in TB. Let's write about TB. Let's give out all this information to make sure that everybody out there have the information, know what is going on, and this is what we are going to do actually in the Oshkoto region. Of course, not only in the Oshkoto region, but you also urge the community to be on the lookout in every region, in every district. They will be commemorating TB activities. If you're a stakeholder, if you're a ministry, please be on the lookout and try to join the Ministry of Health. We say the March is actually the month of TB. Let's speak about TB. Let everybody knows about TB, and let's join the dialogue.
So it's basically trying to bring back volume, to vocalize the presence of TB. And it's understandable, because, I mean, at some point it was so loud that we were able to, you know, escape, if I could call it that, risk level, because our levels back then were quite high, and we managed to do that by basically doing what you're doing now, advocating, putting the message out there, and honestly trying to create volume. And also, at the end of the day, all these exercises do need some form of investment, whether in kind or monetary. So the theme speaks to that, if we can put it that way. Ms. Amutenya, the ministry provides and plays an oversight role to end TB in Namibia. How significant is this? Is it time for Namibia to end TB?
The truth, thank you for an opportunity. The truth is, we can end TB, and it is a long overdue. But then this needs the effort of everyone, starting to the political commitments, to those who are allocating resources, you as an individual, as a community, all of us, we need to take part. We need to do something so that we can end TB.
Yes, yes. very much.
Everyone needs to do their part. And that the commitments which are there, it needs to be translated to the urgent action so that we can try to end TB. All of us needs to take accountable, to be responsible so that we can try to end TB. About the stigma and discrimination of TB, it needs also to go out of our way. Because if all of us help, support the people with TB, then we can hold each other so that we can end TB.
Yeah.
It is now time to end TB, and like we say, businessmen, everyone, we need to invest in the healthcare workers.
Yeah,
We need to invest in the nurses so that we can have enough healthcare workers to combat this, and at the end we can win to end TB.
Okay. No, that's well said. I mean, I think from what you're saying right now, it's actually, it needs commitment from everybody, not just one side of the body. Ms. Hesselman, what is your involvement in the 2022 TB, World TB commemoration?
Well, I can say I'm very excited because we will be cycling, we will have a lot of fun.
Okay.
So the idea is to cycle from Omatia, from the mall, what's the name of the mall again? Kale Mall. And so it will not be a start cycling and, you know, pedal, 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 and end. We will start and we will stop at the different villages along the road, and we will educate. We'll talk to people. We'll try, and we name this cycling #pedal for Peds TB. So we want, although the focus is a lot on adult TB, but we also want to single out the children. So where Peds or pediatric TB means TB in children. So we want to cycle, and as we are propelling, you know,
You
forward.
educate.
Yes,
You boost the
and
awareness.
we are also trying to screen if that's possible. We are still exploring the possibility to also check at the various points where we are, whether there may be people who do have signs and symptoms of TB.
Okay.
And then we will also spend some time with the children at the hospital in Ananjokwe. We are still busy to organize that. And so we are inviting everyone, please, in-kind donations, everything, you know, some nice packets for the children. We would appreciate that. So thank you.
Health awareness with a twist of fun and healthy living, cycling, excitement, all in one. The day will be commemorated on the 24th, 25th of March this year, and it is going to be commemorated in the region of Oshikoto. So everybody who is in that region at that particular date, please do go out and join the mobilizers, as this is a national commitment that we have to make. The same way that we got up for COVID, it's the same way that we should try, and not even try, it's the same way that we should get up to kick out TB out of Namibia. I think it's easier to get rid of, I believe so. I hope I'm not putting my foot in it, but really it is a possibility. Nobody has to die from TB. So let's all do our part in making sure that we do this. With that said, time is never enough on these discussions of ours. We would like to thank the panelists for being part of this conversation and clearing out some of these little nitty-gritty issues that we had between COVID and TB and so on. We do apologize to our callers that were struggling to communicate with us, but thank you for always showing your support. Do join us again tomorrow at the same time, this is how we say goodbye from myself, Shianua Desire Kahiha, along with my production crew. Have a blessed day.